Jake was just a normal human guy. He lived alone near the edge of the desert, where old ships and machines were left to rust. People called it a scrapyard, but Jake called it home. He fixed broken machines and sold their parts to survive. One night, while Jake was working on a power core, the sky above him lit up bright blue. A loud boom followed, and something crashed into the hills nearby. He grabbed his flashlight and ran toward the sound. As he got closer, he saw smoke rising and metal glowing red from the heat. It was a spaceship, but not human-made. It had sharp angles, glowing runes, and strange lights that blinked like stars. The ship was broken in half. Jake climbed inside, careful with each step. The air smelled like burnt wires and something sweet, like flowers. Inside the ship he found her. She was lying on the floor, hurt and unconscious. She didn't look human. Her skin shimmered like silver, her hair was white, and floated like mist. She wore a dark skin-tight suit that pulsed with light, but it was torn at the side. Blood, blue and glowing, was leaking from her ribs. Jake stepped back, heart racing. A real alien. But she was bleeding. And she was alone. He couldn't leave her there. He picked her up gently and carried her back to his shed. It wasn't much, just old metal walls, tools, and a dusty couch, but it was safe. He laid her on the workbench and turned on the heater. He had no idea what to do, but he grabbed his med kit and started cleaning the wound. As he touched the torn part of her suit, it made a clicking sound. The suit reacted. Suddenly, it opened up with a hiss like armor unlocking. The top part of the suit slid away, revealing her bare silver skin underneath. Jake's eyes went wide. He turned around fast. "I didn't mean to. I swear I was just trying to help." But it was too late. She opened her eyes. They glowed with a deep purple light. She looked at Jake, then looked down at herself. Her expression changed from weak to furious in a second. "You saw me," she said, her voice weak but angry. Jake raised his hands. "Wait, I didn't see anything. You saw me unclothed," she whispered. No. Jake took a step back. "Look, I didn't mean to. You were dying. I helped you, that's all." She sat up quickly, ignoring the pain. "You touched me. You saw me. This is very, very bad." Jake blinked. "What? Why is it bad? I didn't do anything wrong." She looked at him with wide eyes, panic in her voice. "My people, if they find out, they will think you claimed me without honor." "Claimed you?" Jake repeated, confused. "They will say you violated me. The punishment is death, for both of us." Jake's heart dropped. "Wait, what? I just tried to save you." "In my culture," she said, breathing hard, "if a male sees a female unclothed without bond, it means one thing: he must marry her, or face death." Jake stared at her, mouth open. "You're kidding, right?" She didn't blink. "No," she said. "You must marry me now, human, or they will kill us both." Jake laughed nervously. "This is insane." "I don't even know your name." She held his arm tightly. "My name is Lyra. I am daughter of the High Warden of Varelia. I am not just any female. If they find out what happened here, they will destroy you and me to protect my honor." Jake stepped back, heart pounding. "So, what do we do?" Lyra looked around, her eyes scanning the tools and old junk in the shed. "We begin the bonding ritual. It must be done before they arrive." Jake looked outside. In the distance, the night sky shimmered. A small red light blinked above the clouds, slowly moving toward them. "What's that?" Jake asked. She stared at it, face pale. "They've already found me." Jake swallowed. "I don't believe this." Lyra looked at him. "You saw me unclothed, human. Now we are bonded, or we die." The red light in the sky wasn't a star dot, it was a hunter drone dot. It hovered silently above the desert, scanning the ground with a beam of blue light. It had no eyes, No mouth, only one job. Find the missing royal and kill anyone who touched her. Inside the old metal shed, Jake and Lyra hid behind a broken hover engine. Jake whispered, "What is that thing?" Lyra's voice was low. "It's a blood seeker. If it scans us together, it will report our bonding as false. They'll think you kidnapped me." Jake's eyes widened. "Kidnapped? I saved you." She looked at him serious. "They don't care. I am royal blood. I was supposed to return home untouched. Now they will see you as a criminal and me as a disgrace." Jake stayed quiet. Outside, the drone moved closer. Cut to flashback 1 hour earlier. After the bonding ritual began, Lyra showed Jake a small, glowing stone. She pressed it to his chest. The stone blinked once, then changed color. "This marks you as my mate," she said. "But the bond is weak. It will not fool the elders unless it is sealed with truth." Jake frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means you must not just act like you care about me. You must mean it, or the bond will fail." Jake said nothing. His mind was spinning. This wasn't some movie or dream. This was real. He had somehow married an alien princess, and now her people wanted him dead. Lyra placed the stone in a metal ring made from junk. "We need to escape before the enforcers arrive." Back to present. The drone paused just outside the shed. Its scanning light swept across the door. Jake held his breath. Lyra reached into her suit and pulled out a small black sphere. "What's that?" Jake whispered. "A cloak bomb," she said. "It will hide us for 30 seconds, but only once." She tossed the sphere on the ground. A pulse of invisible energy spread out. The world shimmered and the drone passed right over them. They both exhaled. Jake looked at her. "We can't keep running like this. What do we do now?" Lyra stood up, slowly, still holding her side. "We go to the bonding temple. It's hidden on your moon. My people once lived there before they left Earth centuries ago." Jake blinked. "Wait, the moon? You have a temple on the moon?" "Yes," she said. "If we reach it and complete the full ritual, no one can break our bond. Not even my father." Jake scratched his head. "Let me get this straight. We sneak to the moon, do an alien wedding ceremony, and then everyone stops trying to kill me?" "Yes," he sighed. "Well, that's better than dying." Scene cut. Inside Jake's workshop, Jake dug through piles of scrap, searching for parts. He found a working plasma coil and an old engine core. Lyra sat on the table, watching him. "You are strange, human." Jake looked up. "Thanks. You risked your life for me." "My own people would not do that." "Why?" Jake shrugged. "I guess I couldn't let someone die. Doesn't matter what species." Lyra tilted her head. "You are not what I expected from your kind." Jake smiled slightly. "You're not what I expected either." Just then, a loud boom echoed outside. Jake rushed to the window. A ship had landed not far from the shed. It was black, tall, and covered in glowing runes. Lyra turned pale. "That's a judgment ship." "Judgment?" Jake asked. "They're here to decide if we die." Ending tease, Jake looked at her. "Then we better leave now." But the door burst open. A deep alien voice roared. "Step away from the dishonored princess, human. You will now face the law." Lyra grabbed Jake's hand. "If we're caught, they'll never listen. You must trust me, Jake. We run now or we both die." Jake nodded. "Then let's go." They ran into the night, toward the stars, toward the moon, toward the unknown. The first thing Jake heard was the sound of metal footsteps on sand. The second thing he saw was the red glow of a plasma blade outside the shed. They had come for him, inside. The alien girl Lyra stood still, her hand gripping a glowing device, made from scrap and strange crystals. Her silver skin glowed faintly under the light. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp with fear. "It's too late to run now," she said. "They've blocked every exit." Jake whispered, "What do we do?" Lyra turned to him. "We finish the bond, right here. Right now," Jake blinked. "You mean get married?" "In my junk shed?" She nodded. "In your customs, maybe it's funny. In mine, it's the only thing that can save us." Jake looked around. Oil cans, rusted wires, a broken vending machine. Not exactly a wedding hall. Then the alien voice boomed again from outside. "You have 1 minute. Surrender the dishonored princess, or both of you will be erased." Lyra quickly placed the bonding stone on the table. She pulled out a small silver wire, wrapped it around Jake's wrist, and did the same to her own. Jake hesitated. "Wait, you're sure this will work?" "No," she said. "But if it doesn't, at least we'll die as mates, not strangers." Flashback cut from Lyra's memory. Long ago on her homeworld, Lyra once watched a bonding ritual between two warriors. Their bond was strong, pure, not forced. Now she was bonding with a human. A stranger. Because he saw her unclothed by accident, her honor demanded it, but her heart, it wasn't sure yet. Back to present. The bonding wires began to glow. The scrap ring on Jake's finger pulsed with light. The metal walls of the shed vibrated gently. Then, the shed door exploded open. Alien enforcers stepped inside, tall, armored, weapons aimed. Jake stood in front of Lyra. "I won't let you take her." One of the enforcers raised a scanner. It beeped once, then turned blue. The bond was real. They stopped, but then a second alien entered, taller, colder, wearing gold armor. Lyra's face changed. She whispered, "My brother." Suspense build. Her brother stepped forward, looking at Jake with disgust. "You? A human? This is the one you bonded with?" "I didn't choose this," Jake said. "It just happened." The brother raised a weapon. "You dishonored our bloodline. This bond means nothing." Lyra stepped forward. "The law says otherwise. He saved me. He didn't hurt me. And the ritual is complete." Her brother's face twisted with anger. "Then let him prove it." In the trial of truth, Jake looked at her. "What's that?" She whispered, "A test where you fight for the right to be my mate." Jake stared at her, stunned. "Wait, you never said anything about fighting." Scene cut. The trial begins moments later. Jake is outside. In a ring of glowing lights, a mechanical beast part machine, part alien is released into the arena. Lyra is held back by guards. "Jake, don't fight with anger. Fight with reason." Jake barely dodges the creature's attack. He grabs a metal rod from the ground, swings, and sparks fly. The beast roars. In the crowd, aliens watch silently. This is not just a trial. It's entertainment, judgment, a test of honor. Jake fights not to win, but to survive. End of trial. Scene, bleeding, tired, and covered in dust. Jake stands over the defeated beast. The golden armored brother glares at him. Lyra rushes forward, past the guards. She grabs Jake's face. "You did it," she whispers. Jake breathes heavily. "We're not dead, right?" Her brother speaks. "The bond is accepted. For now. But if he ever breaks it, he dies." Ending tease. Lyra looks at Jake. "You are now my true mate, by law. But are you ready to be that in your heart?" Jake looks into her glowing purple eyes. "I don't know," he says, "but I'm not leaving you." They walk into the night together. Not just bound by law, but by something more dangerous. Hope. Jake woke up in a dark cell. Alone, his body ached from the fight. His hands were bound in glowing chains that hummed softly. The last thing he remembered was Lyra holding his face, telling him he had done well. Now she was gone. Outside the bars, two alien guards stood like statues. Their armor reflected red light. One of them turned, saw Jake staring, and spoke coldly. The princess has been returned to her people. The human will now be executed. Jake sat up. What? I passed the trial. The guard stared. That was the trial of strength. But you failed the trial of purity. Jake blinked. What purity? The guard didn't answer. He just placed a small black scroll through the bars. It had one symbol on it: :death. Scene cut. Lyra's location, far above the desert, on a cloaked alien warship orbiting Earth's moon. Lyra stood inside a crystal room. Her wrists were in silver cuffs. Her father, the High Warden, stood in front of her, tall, ancient, and furious. You bonded with a human, he said. In a scrapyard. Lyra didn't flinch. He saved me. He honored me. You shamed your people. He passed the trial. The High Warden raised a hand. The bond is not approved. We are sending him back to Earth for public death. Lyra's breath caught. You can't. Her father stepped closer. Unless you break the bond yourself. I won't. Then his blood is on your hands. Scene cut. Back to Jake, inside his cell. Jake sat in silence. The scroll lay at his feet. A red clock on the wall ticked. Down less than 1 hour left. Then the floor under the scroll clicked. Jake looked down. The scroll had triggered something. A small drawer opened in the wall. Inside it was a glowing shard of light. He picked it up. Lyra's voice spoke from the shard. Jake, if you're hearing this, they've taken me home. You have no chance in a fair trial. But there is one place where the old laws still live, where truth can be spoken freely. The Temple of Stars. You must reach it, alone. Jake stood up. The chains on his wrists pulsed. The shard blinked again. This shard will open one path, but only once. He looked at the door. Then at the guards. Time to break a few rules, Jake whispered. Breakout scene. The shard glowed brighter. Jake slammed it into the chains. They shattered in a flash of white fire. The guards turned too late. He ran through narrow alien halls, past glowing walls and curved doors. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. He jumped into an escape pod just as soldiers fired behind him. The pod launched. Cut to space escape. Jake drifted through stars in silence. The Earth a distant ball of blue below. He didn't know where the Temple of Stars was, but he had Lyra's shard. He held it tightly. I'm not giving up on you. Cut to Lyra. In her prison room, Lyra stared out a window. She whispered to herself, Run, Jake. Run fast. Because when they find you again, they won't just kill you. They'll make me watch. Suspense tease ending. Jake's pod beeped. A new signal lit up. The shard was guiding him somewhere. But not toward Earth. Not toward the moon. Toward something far older. Something hidden in the shadows of space. A secret place no human had ever seen. Jake narrowed his eyes. All right then. Let's finish this. Jake had never left Earth before. Now he was flying straight into deep space in a stolen alien pod. Chasing the voice of a girl he barely knew. A girl who might already be dead. He held the glowing shard tightly. It pulsed like a heartbeat, pointing him toward something old and powerful. The Temple of Stars, Lyra's message, echoed in his mind. Only the temple can prove our bond is real. Only there can you speak the truth. But she never said what else might be waiting there. Cut to Space Rift arrival. The pod shook violently as it neared a strange black crack in space. Not a planet, not a station. A floating tear, in reality itself swirling. With silver mist and green fire. Jake stared at it. That's where you want me to go? Really? The shard pulsed harder. The pod entered the rift. The stars outside disappeared. Now there was only darkness. Then, slowly, lights appeared. Not from suns, but from ruins. Massive stone towers floated in space like islands. Broken rings spun slowly, covered in glowing alien words. Giant statues of forgotten gods watched silently. And at the center of it all stood A crystal spire. The Temple of Stars. Jake landed the pod on a floating platform near the temple. The shard flew from his hand and hovered ahead like a guide. He followed. Seen. Inside the temple was empty. No people, no guards, only echoes. Then voices, but they didn't come from outside, they came from inside Jake's mind. You seek truth? You claim a bond not born of love, but of chance. Speak, human, show us your soul. Suddenly, Jake was no longer in the temple. He was standing in his own memories, his childhood, his mother, his lonely nights fixing junk, his first meeting with Lyra, the moment her suit opened. Her fear, his fear, her trust. He saw it all again. But this time the temple saw it too. When the vision faded, the voices returned. Your heart is untrained, but honest. You do not seek power, you seek to protect. The bond is real. Jake dropped to his knees. The shard floated above him, glowing white. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from it, toward the stars. Cut to Lyra on the alien capital ship. Lyra sat in chains. Her trial was minutes away. Her father had already prepared the death sentence for Jake. Then the light hit. The courtroom shook. Alien elders stood up, eyes wide. The Temple of Stars has spoken. A glowing symbol appeared on Lyra's chest, proof of true bonding. Her brother growled. Impossible, he could not have reached it. The High Warden looked shaken, and yet he did. Lyra smiled. For the first time in days, I told you, he didn't steal me. He saved me. Cut to, back to Jake. Jake stood outside the temple, exhausted. But then, shadows moved around him. 4 tall warriors appeared, silent, cloaked, ancient. One of them lowered his hood. His skin was gold and glass, his voice was calm. You are not yet safe. They will still try to kill you. But now, you are under the temple's protection. Another warrior handed Jake a thin blade. It shimmered with light. Take this. A symbol of your right to speak before the royal court. Use it well. Final scene. Jake returns to his pod. The shard now shows a new path, straight toward the alien homeworld. Lyra's voice plays one more time. You've come this far, Jake, but they still don't believe in us. They will never stop until one of us is dead or crowned. Jake grips the controls. Then I guess it's time for a human to crash their throne room. He launches the pod. Faster than light. Toward war. Toward love. Toward destiny. The alien crowd laughed, not with joy, not with kindness. They laughed because a human, small, soft-skinned, born from dirt, had dared to walk into the grand arena of Virelia. Jake stood alone in the center, the twin suns burning above him. His shirt was torn, his hands scratched from the temple climb. But he didn't step back. He held the glowing blade they gave him at the Temple of Stars. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a wedding vow, sharpened to a point. Across the arena, gates opened. Out came the first challenger. It wasn't a man. It was a Turk beast, 4 meters tall, armored in bone and rage. Its roar shook the ground. Everyone expected the fight to last 10 seconds. They were wrong. Flashback. 12 hours earlier, Jake's ship entered the alien homeworld's orbit. He contacted the palace using the temple's code. A council member responded, shocked and furious. You dare return? You are still marked for death. Jake raised the temple blade. This says I speak by right. I demand a trial of unity. The palace fell silent. Then a voice replied, very well. Human, you want to prove your bond? Bleed for it. Cut back to arena fight. The Turk beast lunged. Jake dodged under its claws, rolled, and stabbed the blade into its leg. The beast howled. The crowd gasped. The human had drawn first blood. From a royal viewing tower, Lyra watched with wide eyes. Her wrists were now free, but her heart wasn't. Her father, the High Warden, sat beside her. He said nothing, but his face was tight with anger. Jake ran, jumped, slid onto the beast again. He wasn't faster, he wasn't stronger. But he was smarter. He used wires from his suit. He tricked the beast into charging into a broken wall. The arena shook. The beast didn't rise. Jake stood, breathing hard. Round 1. Human wins. Suspense moment. But it wasn't over. The gate opened again. This time, 3 armored warriors stepped out. All sons of the High Warden. All trained since birth in the arts of war. One of them looked at Jake and smirked. This is personal now, insect. Flashback. Lyra's secret memory years ago. Lyra once watched her brothers beat a prisoner for sport. She said nothing then. But now, watching Jake stand alone, she finally understood. Back to the fight. Jake didn't get time to breathe. The warriors came at him from all sides. He blocked, dodged, got cut. His blade hummed with light, but his arm was slowing. One warrior knocked him down. Another raised a hammer, but before it could fall, a spear flew into the arena. Everyone froze. Lyra had thrown it. She leapt into the arena. The guards shouted. The crowd roared. The High Warden stood up. Lyra! She faced him, her voice loud and clear. This trial is about our bond. Then let me fight beside him. The silence after that was deeper than space. Then the High Warden slowly sat down. Let it be so. Final battle scene. Jake and Lyra stood back to back, against 3. Alien versus alien, human versus prince. They fought like one soul. Lyra's strikes were precise. Jake's moves were wild but clever. Together, they brought down the first warrior. Then the second. The last brother tried to flee, but Lyra knocked him out cold with a punch to the jaw. Victory. Final scene. Jake stood, bleeding, shaking, but alive. The High Warden looked down at him. You survived the trials. You fought with honor. But I ask one final question, human. Do you truly love my daughter? Jake didn't hesitate. I didn't at first. I was scared, confused, but now I'd die for her. That's real enough for me. The High Warden looked at Lyra. She nodded once, then let the bond be witnessed. Let peace begin. Ending tease. Later that night, Lyra and Jake stood on a balcony overlooking the stars. She whispered, You almost died. Jake grinned. Worth it. Though next time, maybe. Just a normal wedding? Lyra smirked. Next time. Maybe no clothes at all. Jake blinked. Wait, what? All across the stars, people were talking. Not about war, not about politics, but about a wedding. A human man had passed the trials of Virelia. He had bonded with a royal alien female. Their fight had been watched live by over 40 million beings across 5 systems. Some laughed, some were angry, but many were curious. Could a human and an alien really love each other? And more importantly, what did that mean for the galaxy? Cut to palace balcony. Virelia. Jake stood beside Lyra, dressed in formal robes made from light threads. Lyra looked powerful, glowing in royal armor mixed with Earth-style details like old fighter pilot wings on her collar. The High Warden, Lyra's father, stepped forward with the binding crystal. You may now speak your final vows. Jake took a deep breath. I didn't come here to be a hero. I just didn't want you to die. But now I can't imagine my life without you. Lyra smiled. From the moment you covered your eyes to protect my honor, I knew you were different. Their hands touched. The binding crystal flashed bright white. Bond complete. The crowd, half alien warriors, half political enemies, stayed silent. Until someone clapped. Then another. Then a full roar of approval. It was done. Or so they thought. Suspense hook. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the palace. Guards shouted. Smoke filled the air. From the sky, a giant black ship descended. It was not Virelin. Jake looked up. What now? Lyra narrowed her eyes. Outworlders, her father growled. They didn't like the peace. A voice came through the clouds. Robotic, cold. Virelia has been weakened by emotion. This human virus must be deleted before it spreads. Cut to war begins. The Outworlders fired plasma beams. Virelian shields fell. Panic spread through the crowd. Jake pulled Lyra to cover. So much for a honeymoon, she smirked. You brought this chaos with you, remember? Jake peeked over the edge. Then let's end it together. They ran through the palace toward the launch bay. Scene. Starfighter Bay. Jake jumped into a small fighter. Lyra took the seat beside him. He looked at her. You trust me to fly? She raised an eyebrow. Do I have a choice? Jake grinned. Nope. The fighter launched. Space battle scene. Jake dodged blasts, spun between enemy ships, and used every trick he learned from old Earth fighter sims. Lyra worked the weapons, locking targets with speed and fury. Their bond glowed on the dashboard. Suddenly, the enemy flagship appeared. Jake whispered, "That's it. Cut off the head, end the attack." Lyra nodded. One shot. Straight through the core. Jake flew full speed. The enemy ship fired everything it had. Jake and Lyra were faster. One blast from their ship hit the flagship's core. Boom. The sky lit up like a sun. Final scene. Peace talks. Weeks later, leaders from many worlds gathered. A human and an alien princess sat side by side, holding hands. Jake spoke first. You tried to kill us for touching hands, for breaking rules. But love doesn't follow rules. It just happens. Lyra added, you feared we were different. But that difference might be what saves us all. Silence. Then applause. The galaxy had seen something new. A bond that crossed stars. Final moment. Back on Earth, Jake sat on the roof of his old scrapyard house, looking up at the stars. Lyra sat beside him, wearing a hoodie and sipping Earth tea. Feels weird being back, he said. Feels nice, she replied. You sure your people won't try to shoot me? Jake laughed. Nah, they'll probably ask for selfies. She leaned on his shoulder. So, what now, husband? Jake smiled. Now we live.